Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Live and Wired. I am your host, Eric Norris, and I will be telling you about the shows that are coming up in and around the Salt Lake region and other valleys that are close to here. And Dustin will be telling you about all the other shows that are coming to you nationwide, even worldwide. Some bands, they just are very well traveled. But yeah, before that, I'm going to tell you a story. Well, I'm not going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a tale from the pit for this week. Yeah, I don't exactly have a title for this one. Didn't really come up with one, but I'm sure that I will. I'm sure that the title will be in the title card. This Armed for Apocalypse. You know, that's the show that I saw, Armed for Apocalypse, coming back to Salt Lake City. This was my third time seeing them, and you know, I'm pretty sure every time I had seen them with a different lineup. Because the first time I saw them was way back in 2013 when they were on tour with The Road Will End. And that was back when they were touring as a four-piece, and that was with their different, the different lineup with, you obviously had Nick Harris. He was their drummer. He's always been their drummer. He's been the only constant in that band. But when Kirk Williams was still their guitarist and vocalist, and they still had Corey Vaspera and Cale Hunter. I kept calling him Core for some reason, but you know, that's short for Corey, I guess. Yeah, that was when I saw them for the first time. And then the second time I saw them was a few years after that, I believe in like 2016, 2017. And they were dwindled down to a three-piece. And that's when they got Nate Berman as the replacement vocalist and guitarist. And he has done a very phenomenal job. He's been doing great ever since. And that was my third time. That was my second time seeing them. They played in some little abandoned storefront on Kensington Avenue, right across the street from where the old loading dock used to be. Back then it was, the old loading dock was in a different location, but right across the street from where the old loading dock's new location was going to be, and now loading dock is shut down. So it's why am I boring you with the details of Salt Lake's Salt Lake's underground venue geological locations? It's not important. What's important is that was my third time seeing it. I'm really fucking up. It was my second time seeing them. My third time seeing them would have been in 2022. Or was it 23? Yeah, 2023. They played at Ace's High Saloon. But I was not there. I was in Las Vegas. I was the very first Sick New World festival because I just had to be down there to see System of a Down, this band that I've been listening to for 12 years, who have been very sporadic on where they will be playing next. They're mostly a festival darling band. God knows when I'll ever get the chance to see them live again, and I just had to be there. Yeah. But it's okay. Armed for Apocalypse, I said, Armed for Apocalypse, they are a younger band. They are still releasing music. They are still active. They will be back. And they came back just this last Thursday, and you bet your ass I went. It was, after I went to... Yeah, when I got off work, met with my chiropractor, and then decided, okay, let's go. I'm gonna go see Armed for fucking Apocalypse, and for a Thursday night show in a bar room setting, it wasn't the greatest attended show, but it was still, the people who did show up, they were rocking out, and I got in there. Boy, when did I get in there? Which band was playing? I can't remember the name. It was Death something. It was Death something. I need to look at the fucking flyer here on my phone. It was, there we go. Death Persona. Death Persona. I got in, like, I think it was midway to their set, and Death Persona was pretty cool. This sort of like a millennial alt-rock, hard rock type band. It was fun. Yeah, I liked them all right. And then Marula went on, and Jesus, those guys are fucking heavy. These guys that are just like, very slammy, kind of a deathcore vibe going through, and their music is just absolutely heavy. It's just super brutal. And their vocalist, I can't remember his name. I think it started with a C. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Their vocalist, he was a powerhouse. His vocals were just so full and just punchy. They just really didn't. He wasn't fucking around. And he had some pretty good dynamics. He was going like super low and in all these eyes, just screaming and shrieking and growling and gurgling. He was doing it all. And he was just jumping around, bouncing all over the fucking stage and just having a good time. You could tell he was really into it. Their music, not exactly for me, but I really enjoyed their performance. Great guys, great musicians, great performers. They were just in the fucking pocket. And I especially really love watching their bassist. Their bassist was he was just sitting there. He's just in the fucking pocket, just like, yep, concentrating, just having a fucking good time. I'm just being really brutal here. And yeah, his fro was all poofed out, just like, it's just funny to me seeing a death metal band, and this guy has just got this, their bassist just has this big old fro. I'm saying, something about here does not fit, but, why do I care? Maybe I'm just jealous because I can never grow my hair long and luscious like a metalhead. Instead, mine actually did grow out to be a Jew-fro, they say. Jew-fro. There was nothing... There goes my phone. There was nothing that magical about my hair. This is why I keep it short. But I shouldn't be talking about my hair. I should be talking about the show at hand. And then Ryle came on. And this was my first time seeing Ryle, and I really like Ryle. They are just some absolute just riff machines, those guys. Just some nice psycho, doomy, really heavy shit. Just, yeah, I don't know. It's like psychedelic doom metal. That's how I would describe it. Not even traditionally psychedelic, just something with like the reverbs and the echoes that they're using in their guitars for the clean parts. But they are just like belting it out up there. Super fun band. And then Arm for Apocalypse comes on. All three of them walk out. Nick, Charlie, and Nate, and they walk up on there while these sound effects are playing in the overheads just to sort of welcome them walking onto the stage, and then they face the wall in the back, and then Nate just turns around and just starts with the opening riff to the road will end. And I was so fucking stoked. That's one of my favorite Arm for Apocalypse songs. I was stoked that they finally played it. They played it every time I've seen them, but I was stoked to finally hear it played live again. And as soon as those vocals came out, it's good to know that you fail all the time. Oh God, that was so fun. And I'm just like yelling Nate's parts to him, and then I'm switching over, I'm yelling Charlie's parts to him, and he's just giving me like a nice, man. That's a good feeling when you get a nice little point and nod from the bandmates just telling you, yeah, thanks for the support. I'm like, fucking course I support you guys. So yeah, they went on, they played a few tracks from their new album, Ritual Violence, some stuff from Palm Reader, a couple of, I think they did an older song from like their first album. I can't remember. I don't know all the songs off of those ones, but they are just like super beat machines. And they played one of my favorites from The Road Will End, The Wait. Worth the wait. Boy, them covering The Weight by Killing Joke, that would be a trip. Yeah, maybe they'll do it next. But they didn't play Built to Kill. I was kind of bummed about that. They didn't play Built to Kill. I mean, there's a lot of songs from Road Will End. I mean, I love that fucking album. Between that and Ritual Violence are my favorite things that they have released. I like everything that they've released. It's just Defeated is kind of an elusive record to hear in its entirety. And what I have heard is really just more of a beat machine, just seeing how heavy, how low the songs can get, how guttural you can get those growls. It really wasn't a lot for me to chew on in that record, the songs that I heard anyway. But Road Will End is just, I love that record. I think it's definitely more of their most dynamic and thought. What even is the word? It's got multiple beats, different pulses. It's really great. And yeah, then Palm Reader and Ritual Violence, they are both excellent deliveries, excellent givings. I mean, Ritual Violence was one of my favorites that came out in the year that it did, which was 2023, in the year of our Lord. In 2023, it was one of my favorite LPs that came out. And I was stoked to hear some music off of that one. I can't remember which songs they played, though. It's just hard for me to remember titles. It's super hard for me to remember titles just off the top of my head. I listen to a lot of music. I have to memorize a lot of things about said music to deliver all the information that is needed for the SLC Punkcast. You heard how thorough I get with the music week in, week out. It gets taxing, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. Just this week I talked about Arm for Apocalypse's Road Will End at great length. So check that one out when you're done here, maybe. Or maybe you have already listened to it so you understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, back to the show. Arm for Apocalypse, they totally killed it. It was a great performance. And this was like the second stop on their tour. Yeah, the second stop, they told me. I can't remember. I don't know if they played where they played beforehand. They were coming from Portland, so they may have played either Boise or Reno or somewhere in between before they hit old SLC. But that doesn't matter. The point was that they were still like so full of energy. They had not even touched tour fatigue yet. They probably are touching it about now, I would say. But they were just so lively on stage, and I remember Nate just going, "This one is a neck breaker," right before he did Worth the Wait, and he's just doing full body head bangs, just boom, 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 boom. Which, if you listen to Arm for Apocalypse, the sludge core guys, their breakdowns have to be even heavier, because if you're a sludge metal band, yeah, your breakdowns got to be slower and crunchier. They got to crush a lot harder. They got to hit. They got to stomp. They got to fucking demolish. I digress. They were just so full of energy, and I really loved that. No matter the size of the crowd, I even joked about them. It was great seeing you guys playing to 10 times the audience you did when you first came here. Because if you remember, I may have said this on the show at multiple intervals. The last time that I saw Arm for Apocalypse, the first time I saw them, it was at the loading dock, the original location of the loading dock, and only 2 people were there. Well, okay, the opening band was like some teenagers doing some some metalcore-ish band, I guess. I don't really remember them. Don't even remember their name. And they invited a bunch of, you can tell it was their friends, girlfriends, and all their little high school friends to the show. And they showed up, they stayed for them, and then they left right after they finished playing. And Arm for Apocalypse went on to me and one other guy were in the audience. And we're like, "Well, dude, I'm sorry that this turnout ain't so great, but you guys are awesome." And I bought a shirt and I bought a CD from them, and I still have that CD. That shirt I think I gave to somebody. I think I gave it to my roommate, actually, because it doesn't fit me anymore. And I was like, it's a cool shirt. It's a cool design, but I just don't see myself wearing it. I wanted to get another Arm for Apocalypse shirts, but the only shirt that I saw that I really wanted, they didn't have in my size. They didn't have it in my size, and I'm pouting because of that, motherfuckers. Yeah, spill milk, whatever. They probably have other sizes on their website. I still have to check that out. There might be. I don't know how up to date they are with it, but it doesn't. It's cool. I showed up to the show. I continue to listen to their music. I have the CD of The Road Will End. I have the LP of Ritual Violence. And I will continue to keep playing them, and I will continue to attend their shows and promote their music as I am doing right now. So if they're coming to a town near you, do yourselves a favor. Go and see Arm for Apocalypse. They are truly amazing. It's like a crowbar for hardcore kids. Anyway, now for the shows that are coming up. I have to retrieve my list here. For the shows that are coming up, there are quite a few coming up in the next couple of weeks from now until the 20th. The first thing I gotta shout out is the SLC Ruidos de Colores Fest of 2025. And this is a pretty stacked lineup. It is happening on the 12th and the 13th. So that is Friday. If you're watching this day of its release, that is today and tomorrow, Saturday. And as you can see, there's a lot of bands on here, including Auxilio, Low Cash Ninjas, Sakura, Counterviolence, Franks, Machina, Dre's Method, Mindlock, Atuk, Mokosos, Griebler, Malfeasance, Debasers, Cerebros Destruidos, All Systems Fail, Wounded Knee, Foco, Garg, Dysentery, Yalto Miklan, and Dead Language. That's going to be at Tracy's Aviary, the Nature Center at Pia Oakway. That is a $30 if you want to buy a 2-day pass. Otherwise, it's $20 per day. $20 if you want to go for 1 day, And that whole thing is, each day is going to be starting at 4 p.m. I do not know which bands are playing which days, but, if there's a band on there that you really want to see, just go on their socials and they'll keep you updated. They ought to have something more updated with that. But maybe I'll have a more updated list if you look at the description in my post on Instagram where I promote these fucking things. Where I promote myself. Anyway, also on the 13th, the Swedish death metal giants from, Sweden, Necrot, is coming back to Salt Lake. This is their third time in the last, 4 years that they have come back to Salt Lake and played Aces High. So they really love it over here. And can you blame them? We got a pretty thriving metal scene over here. And so yeah, Necrot, I'm stoked that they're coming back. I'm going to try and make it out to this show because Necrot is a blast live. And they'll be playing with Deathblow, Sacrilegion, and Exclusionist. And like I said, be at Aces High. Only $20. Only $20 to go to this show. That is a fucking bargain, man. Super fucking, yeah. To see Necrot? Come on, $20. And it starts at 8 p.m. Then on the 13th, another band from Sweden is coming to Salt Lake. The Hives. This is the first time they've been back here since 2017 when they were on tour with Refused. And I got to see them on that tour, not here in Salt Lake, but I got to see both of those guys play at Punk Rock Bowling that same year. It was the day after they played Salt Lake, so may not have been able to see them up here, but I saw them down at Punk Rock Bowling, so at least I got to. And the Hives, they are an awesome band. I'm not too familiar with their music, but live, they are so much fun. So much fun. Being one of the headlining bands, one of the top billed bands on an open air festival, and they just owned it up there. They were just having so much fun. I was having a lot of fun watching them. They're just great performers. Great performers. So I highly recommend you see the Hives at least once in your life. Maybe this Saturday will be your chance. Anyway, the Hives, they will be playing with the band Snooper, and that's going to be at the Union. All in, it's $46 for entry, and it is at 7 p.m. And then on the 13th, the bands Homeschool Shooter and Vaseline, the band, will be playing at the Beehive. That is that is just a measly $10 for admission, and that will be starting at 6 p.m. And the final show on the 13th, this is for all you guys living up north in Ogden, the bands Hulking Boy Giant, Drop the Gloves, and Frick will be playing up at Kamikazes. That is a fun bar to see shows and to play shows. I played there. I've watched shows there. I saw DRI up there, and it was a riot. It was a great time. Kamikaze is a fun place, and this show is only $5 fucking dollars. $5 stinking dollars. Come on, guys. You can't beat that. And some bitch will start at 8 p.m. And then we're going to jump ahead a little bit to next week with September 17th, Sunny Day Real Estate. Sunny Day Real Estate is coming to play the Complex. Yeah, Sunny Day Real Estate, I don't know the last time that they have been back here. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know who else is playing on that bill. At least it doesn't say so on the flyer. I'm not up to date with Sunny Day Real Estate's tour or anything that they've got in the works, but all I know is that they're playing the Complex. It's $55 for general admission, but if you're buying the VIP, it's $133, and that's going to be starting at 7 p.m. And then on the 18th, Private Prisons, Multicyst, and Last will be playing at Ace's High Saloon. That is going to be $15 to enter, and we'll be starting at 7 p.m. And then on the 20th, this is going to be a fun day. First, we have Mortis, Contaferous, Angel Slaughter, and High Clarity playing up at Black Lung. And that is a $12 show. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. But down here in Salt Lake City, the Punks have got some other plans. On the 20th, Lower Class Brats are making their way back to Salt Lake. I can't remember the last time Lower Class Brats played here. The last time I remember seeing them was way back in 2012 when they were on tour with the Casualties. That was a hell of a show. Lower Class Brats, they're awesome. They were an awesome band. Still obviously very active. People keeping the Clockwork Orange punk message alive. All the droogs come out to see him. All the little Lower Class Bratties. Anyway, yeah, they'll be playing not one, but 2 shows here. And I'm not saying they're staying 2 nights. They'll be playing a matinee show at Oliver, and then they'll be playing a evening show at Ace's High. So yeah, they're very well loved out here and obviously missed. So the first show that they'll be playing will be with Power Beer, Ham Apple, The Afraid, The Scoffs, Debasers, All for None, Repeller, Rockin' Chads, Ad Nauseum, and Target of Insanity at Oliver Rock. And that motherfucker is going to be starting at 2 p.m. Yeah, and if you still got energy after being out in the blazing heat, I know it's September, but it's still fucking hot out there, then head on over to Aces to catch the after party. That will be played with Endless Struggle, Goners UK, Hi-Fi Murder, and Flight Kamikaze. That is going to be starting at 7 p.m. So, yeah, this is going to be a hell of a day, guys. This is going to be one... Oh, boy. My heart goes out to you, whoever manages to stay afloat at the end of that day. You've got to have a lot of endurance. Anyway, I know that the Aces show is... $20. As for the Oliver show... Or, not Oliver. Maybe it is Oliver. Yes. It is Oliver, $25. No re-entry. Doors are at 12 p.m. So maybe they're starting closer to 1, which I would think so, because if the next show is going to be starting at 7 p.m., well, maybe doors at 7 p.m., then yeah, that's going to be you're going to need a lot of time. That's a lot of bands. Granted, punk bands have shorter sets, but it's still quite a bit to go through. Anyway, that's all for Live and Wired on my end this week. These are all the shows that'll be coming up in the next week from now until next Sunday. So, guys, this has been a Yeah, it's been great doing the Live and Wired properly this time. Last week I didn't have a Tales from the Pit. I also wasn't able to show up in video format, so you just got an audio recording of me. So yeah, that was the best that I could do. But yeah, this week feels more full. I actually had a tale to tell you from the pit, and we got plenty of shows coming up. I'm going to have plenty more tales from the pit to tell you next week. And yeah, guys, if you end up going to any of these shows aforementioned or any shows that you are going to that I haven't mentioned, then I hope that you have a good time. I hope that you stay safe, and I hope that you return unscathed. But if you don't, I hope you have a cool story to go along with it. So I'm going to turn everything over to Dustin. He's going to handle all the national tours coming out to you. And until next week, I've been Eric. And thank you for watching Live and Wired. Peace.
Thank you, Eric. And as per usual, we're going to go around the world in no particular order. But first, I'm going to start here in Utah. Tonight, I'm going to Goldfinger, Unwritten Law, Zebrahead, who are out on tour. I think they have Las Vegas this weekend as well. So check them out if they're in your area. In Salt Lake today, the 12th, they will be at the Complex. Then, if you're in Chicago on the 14th, this Sunday, 7 p.m., 17 and older show. Go see Cro-Mags, Insult to Injury, Home Invasion, Hex, and that'll all be at Reggie's Rock Club in Chicago. Then, Top Novel in Japan on the 10th, 11th. They've already done those. The 12th, that's already happened too. God, they only have Gifu on the 13th and Tokyo on the 14th. Hopefully in Japan, if you were in that first Tokyo show, at least there's a second one. Nagoya and Osaka, hopefully you had a chance to go check out Top Novel. They're great. Same for this one here, just started yesterday. Striked, doing their Stockholm release weekend bonanza. They were in Torsdag on the 11th. Today, probably happening pretty close to right now in Fredag. Lördag on the 13th. So go check them out. They got, looks like some all ages shows, strikt.sthlm if you need more details on that. Then Death Traps are doing a show on the 13th. That's tomorrow. This weekend, unfortunately, the Red Bastards had to drop. They'll be live at the Mitre Artillery. I think this is in somewhere in Wales. I forget. Either way, somewhere in the UK. Our pals Arizona Law with Death Traps as well. Then, as you can see on this flyer, Frank Carter and Steve Jones, Paul Cook, Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols coming to the States starting on September 16th in Dallas. They'll be doing Riot Fest after show in Chicago on the 19th, and then Riot Fest on the 20th. They have some sold-out shows, as you can see on the flyer, but they're going to towns such as Washington, D.C., Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, Montreal, Toronto, Cleveland, Detroit, Minneapolis, Denver, Seattle, San Francisco, and L.A., wrapping that up on the 16th. As you can see on the bottom there, some cool bands that are going to be playing with them. Then, my pals in Easy Company, they're heading over to the Netherlands from Cork, Ireland. On the 18th, they'll be in Amsterdam. On the 20th, Groningen and Alkmaar on the 21st. So check them out for that weekender there, Netherlands. Go get that new record from the band. I did an interview with Nino a couple months ago, back in early August, I guess. Or is it late? No, this was back in July even. Shit. Back in July, about Death or Glory Fest that's coming up soon, September 27th. This will be in San Diego. The pre-show is on the 27th, and here is your lineup for it. And then here's the flyer for the main fest, which will be that day on Saturday, 27th. Killer bands, TSOL, Coldest Live, Slapshot, and you can see all the way down there. Fantastic lineup. If you're going to be in or around, or for sure it's worth traveling to, go to Death or Glory Fest. Go check out on Punk and Roy Worldwide YouTube channel the interview, and you can get a lot more detail about this festival from Nino directly. Then there's Liar Palooza on Friday the 19th. This is at Liars Club in Chicago on the 19th. You got Car Deal, Service, JoJo and the Clackers on the 20th. Bull Weevils, Boy Brain, Mary Jam, and Sunday from Parts Unknown, Sweet Milk, and Silver Abuse. Go over to Liars Club and you can check all of that out. GGI Fest. This is in Glasgow. and Groningen, Glasgow, Groningen, Ireland. Ireland, Glasgow, and Groningen. Oh, okay. The bands. There you go. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about there? Those are all different locations. Anyway, Friday the 19th, and then Saturday the 20th, Sunday the 21st. The festival that refuses to die. And our pals are Easy Company. This is more to do with what they are up to, so you can see the details on the flyer. They're going to be there Saturday the 20th. And then what do we have left here? We have Total Chaos on September 18th in Tempe, Arizona at the Yucca Tap Room. They'll be playing with the Havoc TV Tragedy and Asswipe Junkies. What a name there. So if you're going to be in Arizona, make sure you check that one out. On September 27th, the Zeros, Das Clown, Kilroy, Toledo Panic, and Fifth Street Saints all playing. This is at the Majestic in Ventura. So go there. And then we will wrap it up with our pals at Outsider Magazine. Go check that zine out, by the way. That is awesome, based out of New York. It's Outsider Magazine on Instagram. But they're bringing you Snorts, Blockage, The Fiends, and PRPE, Punk Rock Polka Experience record release show on Friday, September 19th. And that's in Windsor, New York at the OCNY Veterans Center. It's an all-ages show, $12, 7 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week for Live and Wire, checking out Eric's Tales from the Pit. Stay tuned for next week's, I suppose. And thank you, everybody.